Oi, boa tarde. Então a gente vai começar agora o segundo dia da Europa na Feira de Intercâmbios. Esse já é o quinto dia da Feira de Intercâmbios. Então hoje, assim como ontem, nessa sala a gente só vai ter dois países, que vai ser Irlanda e Itália. O primeiro formulário de presença ele vai ser enviado nas duas salas, mas o segundo só vai ser enviado depois da última apresentação da sala 1. Então vocês têm que ir para outra sala para conseguir preencher. Na outra sala vai ter França, Alemanha e o último é Suécia. Então daqui a pouco eu vou mandar o formulário tanto de presença quanto o formulário de perguntas para vocês fazerem perguntas depois que a convidada terminar a apresentação dela. Então agora eu vou chamar a convidada, ela é da Irlanda. So, hey, how are you doing? You're mix of.
Oh, sorry. I'm good. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'll just share my screen and
Okay, would you like to introduce yourself before doing your presentation?
Oh, yeah. Hi, so I'm Louise. I'm a medical student at University College Dublin. And I'm the current NEO for Ireland. So that's the National Exchange Officer. So we do both incomings and outgoings this year.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. So when you start your presentation, to share your screen, I will put the presentation so they can see.
Okay. Is that good? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, welcome to Ireland. So our NMO is AMC, Association of Medical Students Ireland. So that's who we are. So just a little bit about Ireland, where we are. We are very close to the United Kingdom. We are not a part of the United Kingdom. So the island of Ireland is actually split into two, where the top half is part of the UK, and then where we are, AMC, is the Republic of Ireland. So we're the southern part. And for our Scopie exchange, we have 3 cities. So that's Galway, Dublin, and Cork. And I'll talk a little bit more about these cities. We have 5 universities in total that you can choose from. And within these 5 universities, there are 7 hospitals, really, that we spread our students across. And even though on the map it looks like the cities are quite far apart, they're very easy to travel to. And for a lot of our social programs, we do a lot of trips throughout. Definitely, usually there's a minimum of a day trip in Dublin if you're in Galway or Cork, etc. And something that we really like about, a lot of people like about Ireland, is that everything is English. So we're an English-speaking country. And so as long as your English is fine, you'll be able to interact with patients, take histories, really sit in and shadow and talk with the consultants. The culture in Ireland is really, it's less formal, it's more casual. Even when I'm on placement in the hospital, after you see a patient, the consultants are always happy to discuss the cases with you, ask you questions, and see if you've read their research as well. So it's a really good atmosphere, and the communication part really just, I think, makes it so much more rewarding and enriching for everyone. So the 3 universities in Dublin, so there's Trinity, UCD, and RCSI. I'm a student at University College Dublin, and that's a really big campus, and there's 2 hospitals affiliated with it, but all the universities are really good. Trinity College Dublin is actually, it devolved from Cambridge and Oxford University. So it's a very prestigious university as well if you choose to go to Trinity. The Royal College of Surgeons Ireland is a specialist university for medicine only, and they are also the accrediting body of all the surgical training within Ireland. So they're also really excellent places to gain experience in if these are areas you like. All 3 universities are extremely research heavy. Although we're not SCORE activated, most of the consultants that work in these hospitals have lots of research experience, and they will be really happy to talk to you about their research and how you can get more involved as well. And so they're in Dublin. I'll talk about the social program a bit later, but Dublin's a really, really exciting city. There's lots and lots of culture. Music is very heavy, and I think because it's such a concentrated city, there's so much to do, and you can go kayaking and go hiking, but then also you are in the city center. It's the capital city of Dublin, it's the tech center. So all in all, just a great city to just experience and come and visit if you've never been. So outside of Dublin, we also have two other universities. We have NUI Galway and University College Cork. Both of these are they're also in cities, but they're less urbanized than Dublin itself. And so you can see a bit more of, say, like rural medicine, if that's what you're interested in. And you might see a bigger diversity of cases because there are less specialist centers in these areas. And also because they are a little further out from the city, the vibe is also a little different. It's more communal, but it's also much more laid back, I guess, than just being a big city if you want a slightly different experience as well. So Galway and Cork, also these cities, really great places to be, much more of a smaller town vibe. Galway is by the coast, so you can see like beautiful seascapes if you're interested in that, and it's really, really laid back, especially if you have a long day in hospital, much more of a tight-knit community. Cork is considered the cultural capital of Ireland, actually. So there will always be lots of cultural and historic sites to explore during your Scopie exchange if you do choose to go to Cork. I think a lot of people, when they think Ireland, they do think Dublin first because it's the capital and that's where most of the medical schools are. But Galway and Cork are also fantastic opportunities to do something that's slightly different. So just a little bit about the Irish healthcare system. So the Irish healthcare system is under an organization called the HSE, and that's the Health Service Executive. It's a two-tier system, so we have a public and a private system. And it's not free, so everyone has to pay, but most people are covered by health insurance. And then on the bottom left, you can see I put in a small diagram. You'll see that there's quite a big segment for drugs and also mental health. Both of these are extremely prominent issues in Ireland right now. So if these are areas you're interested in, you'll see a lot in Ireland. You can really gain that experience if you're interested. And also all our hospitals are quite modern and very innovative. Like the photo on the right, that's actually the hospital I'm at right now at St. Vincent's in Dublin. So you can see like it really is going to be a very like first world modern hospital environment that you can gain experience in if that's what you're interested in. So some of the main problems in Ireland is obesity is a very big one, and if you're interested in obesity, we can offer Scopie placements there too. That's where currently I'm working in. Over summer. It's quite interesting to see metabolic medicine because it's such a growing field with the pandemic as well and how that's exacerbated things. Mental health, I've mentioned, is a big one. So is drinking and drugs. So if you are interested in psychiatry, it's also a big thing in Ireland, but also generally comorbidities and long-term chronic issues. These are things that we are really trying to tackle in our healthcare system, and you will see if you come. But just in general, Ireland offers a very tremendous range of medical specialties, and we try to accommodate what you want. So whatever specialty you want to gain interest in, we would be happy to try to put you in touch in that particular field because we have so many options available, especially in things that might be a little more niche, for example, like sport and exercise medicine, or if you're interested in public health medicine, metabolic medicine. Even if you're interested in pathology, we have really good labs here. So if you want to do something different, like we're happy to work with you to choose something that you're interested in as well. Of course, we have all the general, very popular ones as well, like dermatology or surgery. Like I mentioned earlier, you can definitely choose to go to the Royal College of Surgeons Ireland. They're the accrediting body to do all the training for all the surgeons in Ireland. So it's a very prestigious institution that you can choose to go to. The only thing I would caveat is because of that, they only have one spot every year. So it is a little competitive, but it is a really good experience to have. And you can really see what the surgical training pathway is like in Ireland as well. So kind of like, why should you come to Ireland, or who is someone that would be suitable, for our Scopy exchange? And I think it's someone that really values adventure and likes the outdoors, because Ireland is really about, say, just having fun. It's very much of a laid back vibe. Lots of our activities are like hiking, or lots of people like to go sea swimming because we are an island and they're beautiful, just greenery and landscapes that you can see. And it's really is just a lot of fun, especially because we accept students in the summer months. So the weather will be great. We're in a heat wave right now. It's probably not as hot as Brazil, but it still gets really, really warm, and people like to spend a lot of time outside just having picnics and drinking, etc. So for our social program, we go to a lot of small islands just off Ireland as well. Lots of hiking trips, camping trips over the weekend. And it's really great, like just for a bonding activity or to push yourself out of your comfort zone. We can go hiking or even climbing that some people go for. But also we also do city trips. So we always have a Dublin weekend usually. That's a lot of fun just to see the city culture, but also, in contrast to all the outdoor stuff that Ireland has. Sport is a really big part of Irish culture, especially things like Gaelic football. And if there is a match, sometimes we do try to see if we can get you guys to the stadium if that's possible. Now, of course, like the Irish are famous and notorious for drinking and Guinness and beer. So the nightlife is always great, especially in Dublin, I think. My flatmate's from Cork, so he thinks the Cork nightlife is the best. But either way, it is a lot of fun, and people are really nice, and it's very easy to meet people. And the locals in Ireland are more than happy to talk to you if you come. So a bit about the accommodation. So most students will be staying with actually medical students here, where you do a homestay situation. So that's great because then you get to meet local medical students, and they can tell you about our studies, our curriculum, what the healthcare system is like, what is expected in hospital. Sometimes if we get more people, like sometimes in Galway, we might try to rent a private, say, flat for the summer for you. But you'll always be with someone. There'll always be someone looking out for you, and you'll never be alone or lost. We never throw you out and just see if you can survive out there. You'll always be fully supported. If you're in Dublin, biking is really popular. I bike to the hospital every day. It's really safe because there are bike lanes everywhere around the city. But we also have the Luas, which is like a tram that runs through the city. So there should be no issues around accommodation or transport. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. That's just a general overview about the Scopy program in Ireland. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Hey, thank you so much for the presentation. I think that we have some questions here. Isabelle, você consegue falar?
Consigo.
Okay, so let's begin.
Do I just reply or?
Yeah, sure. The first one is this one. If you guys offer scope programs.
Unfortunately, not yet. We are trying to get it active for next cycle, but for next year we will not be scope active, unfortunately.
Well, I hope you guys can do it. I'm gonna be waiting for it.
Yes, we require IELTS, I think, or as long as you can prove that you have a good standard of English. Because if you do come, we would really like you to interact with patients. The consultants, like if you're sitting in, they will ask you, like, do you have any questions for this patient? And we want you to get the most out of it. And so a level of English is required.
IELTS is not really necessary.
I think IELTS is necessary unless you can prove that you have had, say, like a secondary school level, like you've studied before in English, etc.
Oh, got it. And what about night shifts? Are they a thing or not?
No, I mean, you're more than happy to volunteer to do them, but they're not mandatory. Like you won't be expected to stay at night. No.
Okay, nice. Next one. Is it difficult or expensive to travel to Europe from Ireland?
No, it's really cheap in general. Like it depends on which part of Europe you're going to, but in general, it's not expensive at all. For example, when I came from London, my flight was only £5. So yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I know. My taxi trip was more expensive than my flight.
That sounds just really absurd to us, especially like because in Brazil we used to say that like traveling inside the country is most of the time more expensive than traveling outside of the country. So yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if we have another one. Yes. Is there any required level of studies?
I'm not familiar with the Brazil medical curriculum, but preferably you need to finish your preclinical studies, like your preclinical years. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does totally. It would be nice also to have like passed the exams in the field you are applying to, I guess.
Yeah, that would be preferable, but it's not necessary.
That's nice. Is the cost of living expensive? I guess they mean like generally living in Ireland.
In Ireland, no, I don't think so. But in Dublin, it would be much more expensive. If you want somewhere a little more affordable, I would say maybe Cork or Galway. But because if you go for Scopie, we cover your accommodation already, so that's probably the most expensive part of living in Dublin. And also, we will provide, I think, at least one meal for you. So, you can keep those in mind as well. So your out-of-pocket costs shouldn't be too big.
Yeah, and it's just 1 month. Unless you decide to move for good after your exchange. No?
Yeah.
What month do you think is the best one to go on an exchange?
I think, okay, this is a small contentious issue, but in Ireland, we will only accept students in July, unfortunately.
Oh, is that the only month?
Yeah, maybe in August as well, but only those 2 months.
What about differences before and during the pandemic? Do you have any? How did things change?
During the pandemic, we've actually canceled all incoming exchanges. So there is actually a no during the pandemic, but hopefully next year it will be all back to normal. We actually had one of the strictest restrictions in all of Europe in terms of COVID lockdowns.
Yeah, that's true. So everybody's going to be anxious for next year. And is there any dress code for the scope programs?
No, no. I think in general, Ireland is quite casual as well. Like even when I go to hospital, it's just a jeans and a t-shirt. Like still make sure you look decent and professional, but they're not super formal about it, and they know you're a student.
Okay, so those were the questions. Thank you so much for your presentation. Would you like to say anything before we go to our next one?
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I hope to see you guys next summer.
Yeah, me too.
We can say
Thank
the
you.
same. Thank you, Luis.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Então a gente acabou com uma certa antecedência essa primeira apresentação. A gente vai ter um intervalinho aí de uns 8 minutos até a próxima apresentação começar, que é a apresentação da Itália. Então, enquanto isso, se vocês quiserem, tem uma outra apresentação acontecendo na sala 1. A gente vai começar agora com a segunda apresentação do dia. Essa vai ser a última apresentação dessa sala, mas depois disso vocês podem ir para a sala 1, que lá ainda vai ter a apresentação da Suécia. Eu vou enviar de novo o formulário de perguntas no chat, então daí vocês podem fazer as perguntas e no final da apresentação delas a gente pergunta tudo que tiver lá. E é isso, eu vou chamar elas. So, hey, how are you doing?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
As you can see, we are from Sisma, Italy. I'm the new out, and Francesca is the Nori assistant. And we're very, very thankful for this invitation. So thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. So, would you like to share your screen so we can start the presentation?
Okay, I'll just 1 second. Okay. Okay, you see, I guess, my window. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is usually a pamphlet we have for presenting our Sism Italy. And what we focus in general is we really care about academic quality. We have around 39 cities all over Italy, from north to south and islands. And it's very beautiful, as you can imagine. But what we actually want in our exchanges is to have the most of it, even from an academic point of view. So what we do is we do pre-exchange trainings for outgoings, but we train even incomings. Most of our cities do the so the upon arrival training. And it's very, very beautiful because you can really get in touch with the culture and you have a little bit of knowledge about how our health system works and so on. And we actually have a lot in common with Brazil. So it's very amazing how many students from Brazil can see what is different and what is the same in our healthcare systems. The thing is that mostly what we do in the internships is we do 5 days a week, sometimes even more, depends on the students, depends how they like the department and so on. So they can stay for half a day, like they do 6 and plus hours a day. But usually the weekends are free. You can do a local social program, or we sometimes do not a national social program, but we do like micro region, like if different cities they host incomings, we do them together. So maybe Rome and I don't know, Florence and so on. So it's a lot of fun for the incomings. What we actually care about a lot is even the not only what the students can see on the hospital, because it's mostly observational in Italy, but the greatest part of it is that you can really learn from tutors. It's all about the experience, and it's all about the culture, as you can guess as well, because even the way people work is different, the way people interact with patients and so on. It's quite amazing. And the great thing is that many cities host a lot of students, especially during the summer months. We have from 20 until 100 incomings for 1 month. So you really will know a lot of people from all over the world. So it's not only an experience in Italy, but it's really a medical experience made worldwide. Then we have, of course, I don't know how much do I have to tell you how beautiful Italy is, because I guess you know, the food is amazing, the seaside is amazing, and you're gonna love it, I'm sure about it. But it's not only what we care about. As I told you, what we really care about is the capacity building and all the trainings and the quality of what we do. So I really hope that many of you will apply and many of you will enjoy the 360-degree experience, the full of it. So that's all, and I will just leave the floor to Francesca. Thank you.
Okay. Introduce for our amazing NMO. I'm Francesca. I'm the Nori assistant, and I am told to you about our amazing standing committee on research exchange. Our Standing Committee Research Exchange is going very well during this situation, even despite of this this very hard situation. And currently we have like 33 local committees that are SCORI active, and we're currently working on Open SCORI also in the other 6 local committees. And we also have like 130 SCORI exchanges, and we take very seriously, as Silvana says, the academic quality topic. So we constantly check on our projects in order to guarantee the best for our incomings. Talking about this topic, we won the best project of the month, like in March, I think, with an amazing project on multiple sclerosis with our local committee, Federico II, that is in Napoli, in Naples. So we hope that you can apply for this amazing project maybe next year. And about the project, also this year we created 3 new projects for SCORI that are Journal Club, is called Keeping SCORI. For now is only in some local committees, but we are working to bring this project into a national perspective. And CARS, that is in Italian, is a basic course to introduce the students for the important topics about research. And also we have IRE, that stands for Italian Research Exchange. And this project was born with the idea that in Italy, the students haven't the real possibilities, or maybe not all the medicine students have the possibilities to attend a research lab. So they don't have the real possibility to approach research in the medical school years. So we want with this project to give the opportunity to all the Italian students, even the students from the not SCORI active local committees, to do an Italian exchange, but to do this type of experience. Another important things that we have to say is that we are working to open the Global Action Project in Italy. That is absolutely fantastic news, because we have to maybe we want to create the new opportunities for both our incomings and our outgoings. So this is amazing for me, and I hope you like it. And this is all. So if you have some questions, we are here for you.
Hey girls, it was really, really nice. I loved the presentation. Yeah, I fell in love with Italy once again. By the way, I'm Isabel, and I can't open my camera. Like, I really tried with my phone, but apparently StreamYard is not mobile friendly. Anyways, I'm just gonna ask you some questions if you're okay with it.
Yes, of course.
Lucas already put one for us. Do you have scope and SCORI programs?
Silvana?
Yeah, I can talk about public exchanges, and Francesca can talk about SCORI exchanges, but we have both. We have actually opened new ones in public health exchanges, and we want to open even more next year. We have around 6 or 7 projects, but I mean, some of them are quite new. Let's say that we opened them 2 years ago for the first time ever. And during the pandemic, we should have had the first incomings, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we have active projects, but we have no feedback yet. So first of you who are gonna join us in Italy are gonna be the first ever incomings in our public health exchanges. So we are very, very enthusiastic about that. But the thing is that mostly the topic on public health are centered in the south, for example. They're very, very centered around migrations because in Italy we have a lot of migrants from the south of Italy. Then we have public health projects about nutrition and disorders about nutrition, and then cancer, genetics, and so on. So it's very, very different range. It can be from the university, or it can be related to NGOs and so on. So it's very, very new and very cool for us as well. So we are very hopeful for these exchanges this year. About the score exchange, Francesca can talk about it if she wants.
Yes, of course. In these years, we have only outgoings for score exchange because we can't host the project this year. But we are currently working on host the project next year. So we hope that we can have incomings also for score exchange next year. But currently, we don't have score exchange in Italy.
Got it. Like just taking the glance to say it, you were talking about gap exchange, and like one of my very dreams is to open some gap exchanges in Brazil, like in some LCs at least. I have nothing to do with Scori exactly. Like I'm now the VPI, but I represent DENEM internationally, like in the GAs and stuff, in the Scori committee. And I've been really looking forward and researching about gap projects. So like, maybe I'm going to talk to you later because it can be like a nice way to put things together. The next question is traveling to Italy expensive?
Okay, so traveling to Italy, it depends on your country, the flights you have, and it depends how far before you book the tickets. I guess you can buy sometimes both way for 500 euro or something like that. I mean, the same prices are from Italy to Brazil and Brazil to Italy. So what we usually do is we send the card of acceptance way before the 2 months. We usually work this way because we're very careful with people who come from very far away countries. So we try to give at least to these countries more time to get ready. I wouldn't say it's expensive to travel inside of Italy. Like as of now, especially with the flights, is getting really cheap. Like for example, you can travel. I'm from the south of Italy. Just in June, July, I got for 8 euro like the flight to Milan or Rome, for example. So it really depends on the period, and it depends on the offers you get and how far before you actually plan your trip. If you're gonna book like only a day before or in August are very expensive, the flights, but because it's full season here in Italy, so you cannot do that. But if you book beforehand, you buy tickets before, it's going to be quite cheap, honestly. Like even for us, for students, it's not so expensive. So it really, really depends.
Yeah, I was wondering about this actually. Like I was wondering about food, transportation, but I think you answered most of it. The next question is exactly about this. Is the cost of living there expensive?
Franci, if you want to answer this question, we could do one-on-one. Go ahead.
Yes, but it's a really difficult question because it depends. Because we have the main cities like Rome or Milan that are expensive. If you want to live like an Italian with the restaurants or so on, is like expensive, even for us that live in Italy. But I think that the little cities are better for this type of things because maybe Katie, that is my local committees, or Bari, that is the local committee of or Silvana, are small cities and are like cheaper than the big cities, but it depends.
All right. Do the incomings stay in dormitories or with host families?
In general, in Italy, it's quite difficult to find hosting families. Like, it's not very common. What we actually do mostly, it's we rent apartments which are only for incomings, or we have dormitories with the university. So these two options are the most frequent one. We don't have really hosting families, but we might have some students which rent an apartment, and they have like a free room or like more than one room, and they can ask for students, like even incomings, to stay with them. But it's always with students, not with families. Like, it's not very common in Italy to have families who actually can host people, because everybody works and students live with their families, so you never get really a free bed in a family. Quite big families we are.
But it's possible. It's
It
not
is
quite
possible,
common.
like, never say never, but not as common.
Yeah.
All right, girls. Do you think that speaking English is enough to communicate in the hospitals and in everyday life there?
Depends. Sorry, I muted myself. In hospital or in the lab is enough because we take care of all our academic quality. So we search about tutors that speak English. But in everyday life is more difficult if you are in not touristic cities, because maybe in Rome or Milan you can talk in English and it's good, but maybe in the small cities you can have some difficulties, but this is not common, so don't worry.
If I may add something, in the hospital, if you choose a clinic, it might be more difficult to actually speak English, because the patients might not speak English. So you might have either a person who has the time to translate everything. Like, for example, psychiatry, the best way to enjoy it is to actually have someone who speaks Italian a little bit. But with English, like, the basic exchange is absolutely possible. We do not require Italian. It's only English. But of course, the quality of the exchange is going to be better if you know Italian for the clinics. For the surgery, no problem really. I mean, it's quite nice, and they translate for you.
Got it.
In Score, we don't have this problem, so
Yeah.
So it is advised for people to know at least a little bit of Italian. It would make the whole experience better, I guess. And there's another thing, like, I guess for Brazilians, I've read this several times before. Italian is actually the easiest language for Brazilians to learn. So here you have, guys. Do you have night shifts?
Never, ever. No. Absolutely never. Like, we enjoy life, honestly, even as students. So there's no way Incoming is going to do the nights. Only if you really want to.
we use the nights for the social program.
Exactly.
The most honest answer possible. I love it.
Okay, so those were the questions. Thank you so much for your presentation. Would you like to say anything else before we finish this presentation?
Just really thankful, and we really hope to meet all of you, or most of you, to Italy. So you're welcome, and hopefully things are going to get better for both our countries, and we can finally get better to our exchanges as peaceful as we always did. So what can I say? Obrigada. That's the only thing I can say.
Thank you for this amazing opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, girls.
Bye.
Bye.
Bom, então essas foram todas as apresentações dessa sala. Na outra sala agora ainda deve estar acontecendo a apresentação da Alemanha e depois da apresentação da Suécia. Para preencher o formulário de presença, vocês têm que ir para outra sala, que é onde que vai ser enviado o segundo formulário, e daí você tem que preencher os dois para ele contabilizar a presença do dia. Lembrando que para você receber o certificado, dos 8 dias você tem que ter pelo menos 6. Então, é isso. A última apresentação vai acontecer só na outra sala.